Hello students, once again welcome to biology class. Myself Shanamas, biology department, Saint Joseph PU Science College, Vijaypur. Students, in the last video we have discussed about the phylum Chordata. In that we have discussed about the how the general characteristics of phylum Chordata along with the types of Chordata animals. This means classification of Chordata we have discussed. Basically, Chordata animals are divided on the basis of presence and absence of cranium. There are mainly two types of Chordata animals, that is acraniata and craniata. Acraniata animals is the animals which do not possess, which do not have the solid cranium is absent, whereas in the craniata animals is the solid cranium is going to be present. So students, what is this cranium? Cranium is a bony cage. It is a solid bony cage under which the brain is getting protection. Okay. So if this cranium is absent, they are called as acraniata. If cranium is present, they are called as craniata. So usually what? In the acraniata animals, we have discussed two types, that is urochordata and cephalochordata. And in the craniata animals, we have discussed one group that is called as what? Vertebrata. So let's discuss about this one by one. So here is a subphylum, what you call urochordata. What exactly this subphylum urochordata explains and what are important, everything we will discuss here. So basically what in acraniata animals is what this urochordata, cephalochordata are being divided. It is mainly on the basis of the presence of position of the notochord. Students, let's discuss where do the notochord is present in these group animals. Basically in subphylum urochordata, notochord is present only in the larval stage, that too in the tail region, students. Okay. Usually in these group of animals, notochord is present in the larval stages in the tail region. It means what? During retrogressive metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is what, students, here? The larva undergo changes to become an adult. So during this retrogressive metamorphosis, it is tail is lost. It is actually TAIL, tail, students, where just a slight mistake has been taken place here. Okay, so tail is going to be lost. Means these urochordata during their metamorphosis they will lose the tail. It means what? In the tail itself notochord is there. If they lose their tail, usually they will also lose their notochord. That means here the adult urochordata do not have notochord, students. Means what? The urochordata which becomes what? Adult, during that time they will usually lose their notochord, students. Okay. So urochordata have notochord only in the larval stages, that too in the tail region. When they become adult, usually they lose their notochord. This is the first important point. Next, you can observe in the diagram, students, here, where usually this is the larva stage of urochordata. Okay, here you can observe in the tail region, okay, where notochord is going to be present here. Dorsal tubular nerve cord is there, as well as there is a what you call presence of pharyngeal gill slits are there. Pharyngeal gill slits are there. Usually they mainly helps in what? Respiration process. Okay, so notochord is present only in the tail region, not in any other part of the what you call urochordata. So that's reason when they lose their tail. Because of that they will also lose the notochord, as they become what you call notochord will not be present. Now they also called as tunicata. The name of urochordata is also called as what here? Tunicata. Why do they called as a tunicata, students, here? See, basically the body is enclosed within leathery layer tunic. Usually what happens in the urochordata animals is okay. They are also called as what? Tunicata, students. Why do they called as a tunicata? Because the body is enclosed within a leathery layer called as tunic. Students, you can observe in the diagram here, these animals is here you can see tunic layer is there. Okay, This is the tunic layer. This is an external surrounding. A layer is been covered to these urochordata. That layer name is what here? Tunic. Because of this tunic, they usually called as what here? Tunicata. Tunicata. Okay. So this is a leathery layer which usually protect the internal structure of these urochordata. Because of the presence of tunic layer, they are usually also called as what? Tunicata. Okay. Now, one more important character, students, here. It is also known as sea squirts. Sea squirts. What is this sea squirts? See, usually what happens, students, here. Moreover, these group of animals wants to be get protected by some of the predators, means usually they dark their surrounding. Understood? So whenever they release some of the chemical from their body or something substance they will release from their body, due to that the surrounding will become what? Completely dark. That's reason predator will not able to eat or come and attack on these organisms. So they can protect themselves from the predators. So that's reason they are called as what here? Sea squirts. They are going to be called, students, here. Okay. Now they are hermaphrodite. Herma means what? Means what? Basically they are going to be bisexual, or even we also called them as what? Monoecious. Okay. But they favor cross pollination here. What do you mean by cross pollination? Usually we see this cross pollination type of words in the plant groups. But why do we use in the urochordata? Means, students, being bisexual, it cannot utilize its own gametes. So why it is so? Because they are protogynous. Here the word usually what? Protogynous is very important in the urochordata, students. What do you mean by protogynous? Protogynous is nothing but ovary mature first. So usually suppose this is one urochordata and this is another one urochordata. Suppose if they want to show the sexual reproduction, usually in this it is a protogynous, means already ovary has mature, but its sperms have not yet mature. So it cannot use its own sperms. So that's reason it needs to be depends upon this now. So when these animals sperms will what you call mature, no, they will get exchanged together. So by this they will show the sexual reproduction. This is called as what? Cross pollination type of reproduction, students. Okay. So usually subphylum urochordata do not utilize their own gametes. Okay. Now, what is this? Development is indirect, students, here. Indirect means what? Usually there is a larva stage is going to come. Okay. So larva undergo what you call several changes, shows what here? Metamorphosis. That process is going to come. So larva name is what, students, here? Larva is Ascidian tadpole larva. So the name of the what do you call? The name of the larva is Ascidian tadpole. Ascidian tadpole. Okay. Now, so they are exclusively marine, students. Moreover, they only live in ocean water, marine water. It means they cannot be seen in a freshwater organisms. Okay, students. Here you can see the real picture of herd mania. Herd mania is the example of urochordata. It is a real picture. So we have made its diagrammatic picture here. This is considered as what here? What do you call? This is an urochordata, students. Okay. So example for the urochordata is what here? Herd mania. Hope you all understood the concept regarding about the phylum urochordata. Okay. Let's go for the next phylum, that is cephalochordata. Now let's discuss about the subphylum cephalochordata, as like how in the urochordata we have seen the position of notochord was in the tail region. Let's discuss in the cephalochordata what is the position of notochord. Okay, here. Now, the notochord is present from anterior to the posterior and throughout the life. Students, in this group of animals, we usually see the notochord which is present from the anterior regions to the posterior regions throughout the life, students. As in the urochordata, what we have seen, the notochord is present in the tail region, and that too only in the larval stages. When they become adult, the notochord is going to be lost. But in the cephalochordata, we usually don't see such kind of things, as in these group of animals, usually the notochord will be present throughout the life. So there is no variation, there is no what do you call the losing of notochord, as these group of animals usually have the notochord throughout their life, students, as we can see here. So it will be start from anterior to the posterior. What this anterior and posterior, students, usually? See, anterior means topmost part, posterior means downside part, okay, where near the tail. So from anterior to the posterior, from anterior to posterior, we can see the, what do you call, the presence of notochord. Now here, CNS means what, students? Here, central nervous system. Students, brain and spinal cord together we called as what here? Central nervous system, where basically it is going to be included under CNS is not well differentiated into brain and spinal cord. Usually what, students? These are all underdeveloping chordate animals. So usually in them, what, the brain and spinal cord are not yet completely developed, as because they all are belongs to the acraniata group. As you already know, acraniata means what? There will be no cranium, there will be no protection to the brain. So that's reason the brain and spinal cord not yet completely developed in these group of animals. Okay, let's see. The next characteristics we are going to see here, that is okay. Now here, usually they are the blueprint of chordate, students. Blueprint of chordate indicates what? Moreover, they are exactly resembled to the chordates. Indicates means what? They are usually chordate only. Means what? They are the group of animals which basically going to look like a what you call, while the time of discussing about the chordata characteristics I have given the one of the example, likewise same it looks, that's reason it is going to be considered as what? Blueprint of chordata, students. Now, dorsal, ventral and caudal fins are present for locomotion. So students, mainly what in these group of animals is dorsal. Dorsal means what? On the top. Ventral means what? Below. And caudal means what? Backside. Here backside. So they usually have what here? The fins. They are like fishes, students. As usually they are going to be aquatic animals. To move from one place to another place, they need to what? Locomotory organs. So what are the locomotory organs for them here? Fins. Fins are the locomotory organs. So what type of fins they do have? They have dorsal, ventral and caudal fins, students. Okay, these are the locomotory organs for these cephalochordata. Now, 26 pairs of gonads are present in this group of animals, students. 26 pairs of gonads are there usually. You can observe the gonads in this way. Here the gonads are going to be present. Okay, eggs are fertilized externally in water, and development into free swimming larva, students. Usually what happens? So in this group of animals is usually what? Fertilization occurs externally, and that too fertilization occurs inside the water. Develop into free swimming larva. So they are also going to show what here? Larva stage, students. Means indirect development they are going to possess. Okay. The best example for the subphylum cephalochordata is what? Amphioxus. Amphioxus is the best example. So this is the structure of Amphioxus, students. You can easily see the picture like how these group of animals exactly looks. Okay, this is what all about the subphylum cephalochordata. So let's begin with the next phylum, that is what? Subphylum vertebrata. So animals who are basically going to have a cranium, they are called as craniata animals. Usually their brain is getting protected under a hard bony cage called as what? Cranium. Okay, so this is what subphylum vertebrata animals is. You can observe here fishes are there, amphibia, that frog is there. Okay, reptiles like chameleon or chameleon is there, and even you can see here birds are there, and even there is a vertebrata cheetah, what do you call, the means vertebrata animals is like these are the group of okay, here are the some group of animals you can observe. Now let's discuss about this group of animals now. Here subphylum vertebrata general characteristics are what are the general characteristics of subphylum vertebrata, students? Notochord is replaced by vertebral column, students. In this group of animals usually notochord is going to be replaced by vertebral column, so they do not possess the notochord. As usual in this group of animals, notochord has been replaced by vertebral solid supporting structure, backbone, what we call in generally, that vertebral column is going to be seen. Now CNS is differentiated into well-developed brain and spinal cord. Brain is enclosed within a cranium. As we have already discussed, these group of animals are highly developed than the previous group of animals. So in this group of animals, usually what we see, there is a well-developed brain and well-developed spinal cord is going to be present, and that too brain is getting protected under a hard bony cage called as what here? Cranium. Okay, now circulatory system is closed type. Their heart is 2, 3 or 4 chambered. Students, circulatory system indicates what here? What do you mean by circulatory system? It is nothing but usually the flow of blood from one part of the body to another, and that too it is closed type. What do you mean by closed type? Usually these group of animals possess what here? Blood vessels. Okay, so there are in these group of animals usually blood flow through the blood vessels. So whoever animals possess the blood vessels, they are going to be considered as what? Closed type of circulatory system organisms. Okay, so usually there are mainly 3 types of blood vessels are going to come. That is what you can say, arteries, veins and capillaries. These are the different types of blood vessels what we see usually in the animals. Okay, apart from this, heart is 2, 3 or 4 chambered heart. Students, usually what? Heart, which is going to be considered as what? Pumping organ, which usually pumps the blood to all parts of the body. So some of the animals usually possess what? 2 chambered heart. The heart looks like this, okay. It is going to be considered as what? 2 chambered heart. Usually we see this 2 chambered heart in the fishes. Okay, even some of the animals possess what here? The 3 chambered heart. Usually like this it looks, it looks like this. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3. So 3 chambered heart usually in amphibia and as well as in the reptilia we are going to see, students. And in higher animals like birds and human beings, usually what do you call? 4 chambered heart we are going to see here, that is like this. Okay, like this. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 chambered heart we are going to see in the group of higher animals. Okay, so in our vertebrates we can see 2, 3 and 4 chambered heart animals. Excretion by paired kidney, students. Usually there are kidneys are going to be present. These kidneys are going to be present like this. Okay, kidney bean shaped structures. While explaining about the chordata, I have explained you about the structure. So usually they have a paired kidneys, 2 kidneys are there, and they basically helps in removal of nitrogenous waste. Nitrogenous waste they will helps in removing, students. So those nitrogenous waste will be in the form of ammonia, urea and uric acid. It means the animals who release ammonia as a nitrogenous waste, they are called as ammonotelic. The animals who release nitrogenous waste in the form of urea are called as ureotelic, and the animals who release the nitrogenous waste in the form of what you call uric acid, they are usually called as what here? Uricotelic, students. So as usual, these group of animals are going to be release different types of nitrogenous waste based on their habitat, students, based on their habitat. In future, while explaining about the other classes of these vertebrates, we will discuss some more information regarding about this ammonotelic, ureotelic and uricotelic animals, students. Okay, now, so here you can observe, students, here basically respiration is aerobic. Aerobic respiration means what, students, here? Usually these animals are going to respire in presence of oxygen. So they usually respire in presence of oxygen, so they are usually called as what? Aerobic respiration, students. And respiration may be gills, moist skin or lungs, we can see, students. So in this group of animals, like fishes usually respire with the help of what? Gills. Amphibia are there, even they sometimes respire with the help of moist skin, lungs and as well as gills. And in the higher animals we usually see what? Lungs are the respiratory organ. So moreover, these what you call vertebrate animals, backbone having animals, all will respire with the help of all these 3 different types of respiratory organs. Endoskeleton is bony or cartilaginous. Usually what the animals who even possess bony endoskeleton, some animals possess cartilaginous endoskeleton, and some animals have both type of structures. Example, human beings. Later on we will understand. Hepatic portal system is present as usual in phylum Chordata, I have explained you about this concept. Exoskeleton, maybe hair, scale or feathers are there. Unisexual, sexual dimorphism can be seen. Development may be direct or indirect, students, and even they may be oviparous or viviparous. So some of them are going to lay the eggs and some of them are going to give directly birth to the young ones. So here subphylum Vertebrata have the classes. Usually the classes are what here? Chondrioctis, Osteichthyes, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammals. So first two are even also called as what here? Fishes. First two are also called as what? Fishes here, students. Okay, so this is what about the general characteristics of subphylum Vertebrata. Now we will discuss about the usually what this phylum Vertebrata has been divided into mainly two main groups. Subphylum Vertebrata has divided into mainly two main groups, that is Agnatha and there are some Gnathostomata. Agnatha, which is also pronounced as what? Anathostomata, and it is Gnathostomata. So what is this definition exactly? We will discuss here definition. Anathans are fish that do not possess jaws or paired appendages. So there are no paired legs are there and there is no jaws where teeth are embedded. Jaws means what? The part of mouth where teeth are embedded, this is called as jaws, where they do not possess this. So they are called as, they are even also called as what here? Jawless. Whereas the Gnathostomata animals is basically going to show what are type of animals is in which they are the type of animals is in which what basically there is a jaws are going to present and as usual appendages are also going to be present, students. Now they mainly possess what here? Jaws, okay, and paired appendages and fins as a locomotory organ are going to be present. Okay, now here example for these group of Anathostomata animals is example we can give here: Myxine and Petromyzontidae. This is what one more example we can see, and like this only here what you can say, the Chondrioctis and Osteichthyes are going to be considered as what? The examples for animals who belongs to the Vertebrata. Okay, so this is what all about the subphylum Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata and subphylum Vertebrata animals. Okay, so we will discuss next, in the next video we will discuss about the super classes of the subphylum Vertebrata, students. Okay, so thank you for watching my videos. Thanks a lot.